How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport, and welcome back to part 2 of restoring our 2002 AMG C32. This car has nearly 270,000 miles, but it does run, and it seems to be running pretty good. It does need quite a bit of work, and if you guys saw that last video, we completely redid the interior, which was a complete disaster. We'll jump in there in a second and take another look at that. But let's talk about today's video. So we've got a lot on our plate that I want to get done. We've got to go ahead and change out the hood, the front fenders, because they're all banged up. As you can see, this one's banged up on the side. I went down to LKQ and pulled those. We're also missing a lot of components up front, and I'm going to kind of debate on which ones we're going to put on. What I want to do is get the hood, the front fenders on, and then pull it out, put it up on a lift, and kind of get a better idea of what wires need to be redone and what components are going to be easy to replace. I do have on order the front heat exchanger or intercooler, and we've got to hook that up. So I'd like to have it up in the air when we do that. So we'll start with doing that other stuff on the ground, which is what we have over here that we picked up from LKQ. And then, like I said, we'll kind of decide where we're going to go from there. I'm not sure I'm going to do the AC or not, because there's a lot to that and there's a lot missing and broken. But let's go ahead and take a look at the inside and see what we were able to accomplish on the last one. And I'll link that video, but you guys can see here we picked up these used set of nice seats to complement all of the cleaning and all the fixing and repairing that we did in here. And it's finally a nice place to be. It smells absolutely amazing in there. But let's go ahead and get set up, because we've got a lot to do, like I said, and I want to see how much we can knock out on this video. So my goal is to make the outside of this car look really good and presentable, and then try to fix up any of the electrical and engine components. Hopefully we can get to maybe detailing the engine, or that'll be on the next episode. So stay tuned, let me get set up. That went really smooth. The fenders came right off, very easy to access them. The hood came right off. Now all I've got to do, I've got the hood back on, I've even got the windshield washer stuff all hooked up, I've got the grill on there, and really now what I want to do is polish these headlights. So I'm not going to put the fenders on just yet. I'm going to keep the bumper and fenders off for some time, because I've still got to rewire this. It just makes it a lot easier to access all this, and we've still got to mount our heat exchanger, which is coming in tomorrow. So today's goals are to pull it around, get it up on the lift, and get done all the stuff that needs to be done up front before we can put the fenders back on. And then we'll bring it back down, put the fenders on there, and start working on other stuff too. So stay tuned. Let's go pull it around and put it up on the lift. All right, so I'm going to quickly go through what I'm going to do to polish these headlights out. I've done videos on this in the past, but I want to show you guys right before I get started, and then I'll zoom through it. I'm going to use a 600 grit wet sand, go to a 1500 grit, and then a 2000. I'm going to do that by hand with just a little bit of soapy water. And then we're gonna go to the dual action polisher. I've done a review on this, absolutely love this device. It's a Bauer. And then we're gonna be using the Griot's pads. We're gonna use a correction pad and then a finishing pad. And we're gonna use Meguiar's Ultimate Compound and Ultimate Polish. I really like all of this combination. It goes really smooth. It's easy to do and it's not that expensive. Let's get set up. I'll zoom through this and you guys can see it before and after. Alright guys, so I just got done polishing this headlight here and I think it looks absolutely amazing. At this stage, a lot of people like to throw a clear coat on there, but I find that to be a very difficult task. You're most likely gonna have to take the headlight off. So I'm gonna show you something that I believe is even better. It's not that expensive and you can easily order it online yourself. And I have fallen in love with this Avalon King ceramic coat. It's called Armor Shield. And it's super easy to apply. I'm just going to show you guys now. Normally you have an applicator. My applicator's dried out and I have a big bottle still left. Most of this bottle's left and I've already applied it to a car. So I'm going to put it on a microfiber towel. I'm just going to dab a bunch on here. You don't need to go crazy, but it does have a very small hole there that comes out. And I'm just going to wipe it. And you can see it as you're putting it on because it looks like it's getting wet. I want to make sure I put a fair amount of it on. This is going to act as a protective, kind of like a clear coat would do, but it's a wipe-on process. Go this direction, and I'm going to bring it. Now once you put it on like this, all you're going to do is let it sit a little bit, and then you're going to buff it out. So I'm going to let it sit for about 2 or 3 minutes because the temperature out here is probably in the 70s. You can let it sit a little bit longer, but you'll know when you can wipe it off. And I'm going to let it haze up a little bit and then I'll polish that off. And I've already went ahead and did this headlight here and it came out absolutely amazing. I'm very, very satisfied with this. It was a very simple task, maybe took me 45 minutes total time and really didn't cost me anything, and it's going to make a massive difference. So let's move on now and start putting some more components on here, and hopefully we can get this bumper on here by the end of this video and we can see the car in its complete form. So guys, I was getting ready to do the motor mount. It was part of the stuff that needed to be done on this car. I was going to kind of skip through it and not really show much, but I had to show this because it's unbelievable. I knew this motor was kind of bouncing around. Let me see if I can get down in there. Look at what somebody did. I don't know if it was the past owner, but there's like some sort of glue on top of the motor mount. I'm going to see if I can pull a piece of it out here. It's almost like a rubberized glue. Oh, a whole chunk actually came out. The entire top of the motor mount, and it's some sort of it's almost like liquid nails up on top of that. That is unbelievable. So this wasn't even holding. Zay had told me when I tried to take off the other day, just driving it around this little area here, he saw the motor spin because we had the hood up, and I was like, yeah, the motor mount looks like it's shot, because I looked down in there. I had no clue. I mean, it wasn't even connected. So we'll get that new one in there. It's not the easiest task. I can kind of break it down for you guys if you have any questions about it. I did find a video online, not for this specific car, but I ended up having to take a 16 millimeter wrench, cut it in half because I couldn't find a stubby that was a 16 millimeter at the local auto parts store, and then get down in there and get it off. Now I could have taken the manifolds off and gotten straight down into it. The other side, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to. The motor mount looks really good, and it is completely different. It's a lot more difficult to get to. Unless I'm able to pull it from underneath, I might not even mess with that motor mount, at least for the time being. Let me go ahead and get this one in. I just had to show you guys that. Okay, so yesterday we went ahead and tackled the motor mount, and it ran into a very funny situation that I did not expect, but we resolved it. We swapped out for a new motor mount, at least on that side. I'm still debating on if I'm going to try to get to this one, but today's agenda, we need to get the sway bar on here, and I've got brand new sway bar links. That just kind of goes up in there. I've got the bolts right there, and then we've got to get our front brace bar on, and this came in yesterday, and this is our heat exchanger intercooler. It's a water flow style heat exchanger, so the coolant needs to go through it. I've got a diagram. I'll throw that on the screen now. And I've got to kind of go through this mess of hoses because I'm sure there's a lot of rerouting that he did. I don't even know what I'm going to run into, but I've got to kind of sit down and go through this diagram and make sure I've got the proper lines going to this heat exchanger. I do know the pump works, but it's running off of a wire that's coming from the fuse box. I tried to figure that out prior to starting all of this, like when I first started cleaning out the car. Changed out a couple fuses and still couldn't get it to go on by itself, so we may end up having to rewire that or figure something out, but I think that is a good pump from what I've seen. It does kick on, so we should be good there. So a lot of store. We're going to basically speed through most of this. I'm not going to waste my time showing you full installation of this stuff. It goes in pretty simple, and then I'll fill you in after we get everything hooked up. Alright guys, so major fill-in time. As you can see, I've got the front bumper on, the hood, and we've got our fenders on. All of the brace bar, everything's in there. I didn't do much recording because I was really just trying to figure out how it was all going to go together. And then once I got the bumper on, I realized this light over here was completely broken and it won't even stay in place. I was thinking about upgrading these to the newer style, which is all clear, and now I'm definitely going to because I couldn't fix any of the broken pieces. And I've got to take the bumper back off anyways to remove those lights and put new ones in. But what I want to do today is get this car aligned. I'm going to show you guys one other thing that I just got taken care of. But one more bad thing is I got the heat exchanger intercooler, as you can see right there. Unfortunately, it looks like somebody JB welded it. That was not mentioned when I purchased this, and I was pretty upset. So they're going to send me out another one. They're actually doing good on their part. They said they have a few more in stock. They're going to send me out the best one that they have. And obviously I'm not gonna have to pay for that, so that's gonna take a little bit of time. But I already know I got to take the bumper off, and I've got to rewire all of the stuff over here. I've got the whole wiring harness for that I pulled out. So today what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put on these wheels. I just went and picked these up. They've got really nice tires on them, and that's why I bought them. I was kind of tossing around whether to pick up tires for these ones here because the tires on here are completely shot, or go all out and get some really nice rims. Just couldn't find anything that I really liked, and I didn't want to spend a ton of money. Newer tires would have been about $500 to $600 for these rims, and I picked these up for $275, and they have the exact tires that I was going to buy anyways, which are the Firehawk Indy 500. Very sticky tires. I love the way they ride. The exact tires I just put on our SVT, the 99 Contour SVT, and that car drives amazing. So I really like the tires. And when I saw these come up, I did a low offer and he took them. So they might look pretty good once I get them on there. They're definitely not a rim that I'll plan on keeping long term, but definitely something that will allow us to go down, get this car aligned, so then we can start working on getting it to run perfect. So let's get these on here. We'll be back. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the whole car up and kind of give you guys a breakdown of everything we've done and what will be on the next episode. Well guys, what a crazy day I had. As you can see, I got one rim on, but man, it was a complete struggle today. First I tried to put the rims on, realized the bore was a different bore, had to go down and get these hub centrics. That took like 2 hours because I forgot my wallet, had to go back, and finally got that. Then I get back and I realized that these stock bolts do not fit into the new rims. And so I already planned on swapping them, but had no clue they were going to be some kind of special, really thin ones I needed to get. So I had to get these, and they are a lock key. I hate lock key bolts, but you know what? You have to do what you have to do. Those were 60 bucks. The hub centrics were 40, so I'm like another $100 in. Not a big deal, because I actually kind of like the way the rims are looking. So now it's going down. It's going to be towed over to get the alignment done. I'm going to throw these last rims on here. The guy's on the way with the truck, and then I'll clean it down, and you guys will get to see it in its final, or kind of final stage, at least for this video. Well guys, we got quite a bit to talk about. I just got the car towed back late yesterday, and the reason why I got it towed back was because the alignment was a fail. They could not align the car. They claimed that the tie rod on this side was still bent. They also said the struts were bent. That's the questionable one, but I went ahead and ordered in brand new struts, and we're gonna actually lower the car. I'm gonna show you why here in a second, because after washing this car down, and all I did was just some Dawn dish soap and water, nothing crazy, and then just dried it down, and what a world of difference. Like I talked about earlier, we're gonna go ahead and swap out these headlights for the more modern ones, because that piece is just too broken to even align in there. And I think it's just going to look better overall. Now, the hood emblem, I don't think I'm going to keep that. I like the flattened one for this style car because I feel like that's a little more sporty. That, to me, goes on the S-Class and maybe an E-Class, but not on a C-Class. Just my opinion. But let's go ahead and take a look at how these rims ended up looking on this car. Now, I know a lot of you guys might hate these rims, but after I put them on, I really, really like the way they fit. Being 17-inch wheels, I was very, very shocked that they sat in there so well, and I kind of questioned how this rear end was sitting, and to my surprise, the owner had lowered the car. Now, he didn't do it the right way, but he did lower it and did put a camber kit on, and he said he had heated the springs up, and I know that's an absolute terrible thing. We're going to run with that for right now, but we'll probably end up swapping those springs out. And since we're running that, I got to put new struts in. We're going to cut these front springs on this strut. I looked on some forums. People do it. You can do it with these front springs that are on here. And why not? If I'm going to eventually just swap out all the springs, we might as well have some fun and see how it's going to look. But with all that negative out of the way, let's just take a quick walk around and take a look at how far this car has gone since I received it. I mean, it's a massive, massive transformation in my eyes. I'm absolutely loving this car. I like the bumper, even though it's not the AMG style bumper. I like the way it is fitting on there. I do have to put a few more screws in to hold it in a little tighter. But overall, I think it looks great. You guys have seen the interior video, and this car is night and day inside. I mean, these seats that I picked up are just absolutely amazing. They're in amazing condition. I'm about to throw the bag bomb on there and let it sit, since I've got it back now at the shop and I've got to wait on some parts. Rear seat was the one that was in here, but we did clean it up very nicely. We basically redid all of the interior pieces that we could on these door panels and did a very deep cleaning on this car. It took a few days for me to do it, actually. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll try to put some pictures up now of how the car looked when I got it. Interior, exterior, and then I'll do one more quick walk around for you guys.